Hello, welcome to week 2 of the Jehnny Beth book club. I'm going to talk to you about 3 books that I love. Today I want to start with one of my favorite books of all time, Darkness Moves by Henri Michaux. Henri Michaux is a French writer. He died in 1984, and I know that because that's the year when I was born. He's very hard to classify. The closest we could compare him to is Kafka, maybe, or Borges. He kind of stands alone in the history of literature. He's not really an artist, he's not really a writer, he's more a conscience. That's the best way I can describe his writing. Reading him is like entering a conscience. This book is a compilation of his work, and yes, I am French, but I read French writers in English. Go and have a read. Darkness Moves. The second book I'd like to talk to you about is a recent book by a writer who's reached 100 years old. He's still alive. He's a very well-known writer. He's called James Lovelock. And this book is the last book he wrote. It's called Novacene. I'm a big fan of astronomy. There's a lot of things we can learn about ourselves, about learning about the universe, I think. James Lovelock wrote really famous books. One of them is called Gaia. It's a cross between, different disciplines, but he's mainly an environmental thinker. So this book, he argues that the Anthropocene is coming to an end, and there's a new phase coming, which is called the Novacene, the emergence of artificial intelligence. And he believes they're going to take over, but that's not going to be a nightmare. It's going to be for the better, because they're going to be able to think 10,000 times faster than we do, and they're going to be able to solve a lot of issues that basic human beings like us can't. So it's very interesting to read it, because it makes you sort of come to terms with the idea of human extinction. It's called Novacene. The last book I'd like to show to you this week is one of my favorite books of contemporary poetry, The Problem of the Many by Timothy Donnelly. I usually go to bookstores, go to the poetry corner, and I just pick some current poetry that I don't know anything about, and just because I like the title, I buy it. And sometimes, like this time, I have amazing surprises. The Problem of the Many is absolutely incredible in terms of the quality of the poetry. It's a book I always come back to. There is a mix of abstraction in the way he writes. It's very technical as a poetry, so he would insert, math in it, he will insert really factual things, and then there's always going to be a line that is absolutely like thunder, which I think is what poetry does, good poetry. One of my favorite poets is Bukowski, but Timothy Donnelly comes very, very close. Thank you for watching. Next week I will show you 3 more books. I hope everything's good, and I'll see you next week.